Combat veteran hand, shall we?
All right, so this morning I was sitting there thinking, man, because I'm at fault. I'm not real active in the Legion or the VFW, and we were just talking about that. A lot of guys from my generation, Iraq, Afghanistan. I'll be 45 in a couple weeks, so I'm not old, but I'm not young. And I'm like, what am I going to say to a group of Vietnam guys or Korea, or if there's even any World War II guys? So
there is right there.
There you go.
Oh my
So
goodness.
what can I say that you don't already know? I'll just tell you a story. And it's funny and right quick. And my dad's here, so this might make him laugh too. Last night we had dinner at Mom and Dad's house, and I'm really big on practicing what I preach. I got 4 kids, and trying to live and be an example for my children. And I raised my kids spanking them, right? Spare the rod, spoil the child, that whole bit. And so they were talking about, I don't know how they got on the subject of a paddle. And anybody else get spanked with a paddle or anything like that? A couple of hands, right? So that's not uncommon. And so my kids were like, my 9-year-old's like, I want to see the paddle. I want to see the paddle. I was like, man, you want to see the paddle? So anyhow, we talked to him. We end up getting the paddle out. And and my dad was he's a frat boy up in Columbia. And they used to do the spanking thing back in the day, back in the 70s and whatever. So there's a kind of a certain way you receive a spanking, with the paddle. And so we're talking them through it. And my son, my 9-year-old was like, no, I'm not going to do it. You're going to spank me? And I was like, get out of the way. Let me do this. Last time I got spanked, I was 17 years old. It was either get spanked or get grounded. And I didn't want to go out with my friends, so I took the licking. So anyways, and I knew what was coming. So last night, I went out there and I said, you got to grab your ankles. So I bent over, I grabbed my ankles. And my dad's like, yeah, you just got to, you got to make sure you got plenty of room back behind you and a nice full swing. And also, whack! And man, I jumped up. My eyes about came out of my head. I'm like, pinch your cheeks, man. Pinch it, get that blood moving. And I hadn't laughed that hard in a long time. Yeah, it hurt. But for my kids to see that too, I think that was kind of neat to see their dad get whooped. So anyhow, so yeah, I'm from Springfield, grew up here, went to Glendale High School. Finished. I didn't graduate. I ended up getting my GED because at the time in the Army, you could have GED and enlist. And I always kind of thought, I always had teachers tell me, Brian's just not applying himself. He's a smart kid, just not applying himself. School is a social activity for me. And I always kind of figured the Army was going to teach me what I need to know to thrive in life and do my job and all that stuff. So I didn't apply myself much. So I ended up getting my GED in '93 and enlisted. Went to Fort Sill, Oklahoma as a 13 Bravo field artillery cannon cocker, red leg. And 6th June, D-Day, 93 is when I reported. I did that for 5 years. I was an artillery guy. And then after 5 years, I was like, man, I want to find the most air-conditioned, REMP, cool job in the Army. I want a break. I'm sick of going on the field. I just need a break. So I'm thinking, I'm talking to some buddies. I'm like, what's a cool job? What's a cool job? You can use in the civilian world. Well, every time you hear that, thump, 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 you look up and you're like, man, those helicopters, they're just cool. Helicopters are cool. I was like, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be a rotor head. I want to turn wrenches on helos. So I re-enlisted to work on 58s. And back in Vietnam, they used 58s, the slick 58s, as recon observers, forward observers. So I worked on 58s for 3 years, but got sent to Germany, and I got there, and I'm like, this would be cool, aviation, we're in the flight suit, being an aviation guy. And they sent me to the CAV. If you're in the Army, every division has one cavalry unit. They're the eyes and ears of the division. So I was in the 1st Infantry Division. Out of 3 years I was in Germany, I was home probably 11 months. Just because of field time. And I'm like, dadgummit, man, I went from artillery to this, and it's just like field. But it was good. I loved it and a lot of fun. In 2000, you know, I decided to go ahead and hang it up. General Shinseki was the general. There was a lot of changes with the military and the more touchy, feely military and the whole berets, and just a lot of things were changing. A lot of things were changing around 2000. And I told my squadron commander, I said, you know, sir, I just can't, I can't do this anymore. I'm too old school, or whatever you want to call it. So I got out, came home, worked for my dad for a year and a half, 2 years, sold farm equipment, and then, but I enlisted. I went right from active duty into the reserves. And 2003 kicked off in Iraq, so my unit got called up here in Springfield, went and did the invasion in 2003. 12 months over there, came home, and after I got home, worked for my dad for about a month, and I'm like, I can't do this. Like, I just spent 12 months in a combat zone, and now I'm supposed to do customer service for people. Yeah. So, and we have a term in the circle that I run in, the GSD. We, as service members, we have PhDs in GSD, which is getting stuff done, keep it clean. You know, so I really had an issue with civilians not having the ability to figure stuff out and get stuff done on their own. It's like if something's wrong, fix it. You know, don't complain about it, and certainly don't come to me with a complaint unless you have a recommended solution. So I talked to a couple buddies of mine. They were SEAL team guys, and they're like, "What do you want to do?" I'm like, "I don't know." And he's like, "Man, we need to start contracting." And I was like, "Man, I don't know nothing about building houses." He's like, "No, dude, like security contracting." And I'm like, "What?" "Yeah, mercenary stuff." And I'm like, "Oh, that's killer, dude. Yeah, let's do that, man." So that's what we did, man. We sent our resumes out. I got picked up by a company called Blackwater, and I worked for them for 5 years. And I'm just running around South Central, Southeast Asia, doing what we do. That was a lot of fun. Did that for 5 years with them, and then I switched over to another company for 2 more years. So and what we did, we contracted for the agency. If you guys ever seen that movie, 13 Hours, the Benghazi movie, that's what we did. I knew all those guys in the movie. I still stay in touch with them. Anyhow, so, but 2012, I was in Kandahar, Afghanistan, and I got hurt. It's non-combat, tore my knee. I was all kitted up, jocked up, ready to go out on a mission, and jumped off the top of my truck. I popped the whip antenna on the top to get ready to roll out, and I hopped off the truck. My knee went snap. I'm like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. Suck it up, you know, Ranger candy, Motrin, drink water, put in a chew, and keep rolling. And so I did that, but my knee was torn up. So got sent home. I had surgery. Didn't get any better. Had another surgery a year later, and at that time, I had to kind of assess what I was going to do. You know, could I fake the funk and go back to work? Sure. I could grit my teeth, pass PT test, and go back. However, I was a liability to my team, so I couldn't go back to work. Well, I had opened a gym a couple years prior down in Nixa. CrossFit gym, but CrossFit's, you know, working out and all that crazy stuff. So I did that, and that was kind of like my fallback plan. I ran that for a couple years until 2016, and something just hit me. You know, I kind of felt like an old bull that had been put out to pasture. A lot of guys, you know, everybody knows suicide rates through the roof. It's ridiculous. It's horrible. But what happens is a lot of us, and many of you may be able to relate, you come home, you know, when you're in war, you're living a rock star life. I mean, there's nothing like the thrill of combat. I mean, you know, getting outside the wire, getting in gunfights, stuff going up around you. Once you survive and you go back to their team room, you're like, dude, that was killer. I know, man, that's crazy. Did you see that one? Yeah. And you talk about it. It's the rush of it and the thrill of it. And it's a drug. And you become addicted to it. And that, for me, that was my thing, is I was addicted. I was addicted to the thrill of it. And so, around November 2016, it just kind of, I hit my bottom. You know, I I closed my gym. People are like, why are you closing your gym? I'm like, man, I freaking hate studies. Man, I hate everybody. I hate me. I hate everybody. I'm like, whoa, you know. And so I told my wife, I said, you know, hey, I think I'm ready to go. And she said, what do you mean? I said, I'm ready to go to heaven. Well, I grew up, you know, in Southern Baptist, went to Second Baptist Church, grew up here in town, and you know, did the whole Christian, you know, the church thing my whole life growing up. So that seed was planted. And my whole time on active duty, I walked in the valley. Like, I never went to church. You know, I knew what was right, but I didn't do it. What's interesting is all the times and experiences I had that somebody was looking out for me. At one time in particular, a buddy of mine, another believer, we were on a rooftop in a gunfight in Afghanistan, and we're giving him the good stuff. I was on a belt-fed 7.62 millimeter machine gun, and just we were hammering away. He was on a scope rifle, and you know that for any guys who've been in combat, that distinct sound that bullet makes when it's snapping and whizzing, zinging by your head, snap. Like, man, this is freaking, let's get it. So everything cooled down, and after that, we kind of just walked around. We put in a chew, and man, that was crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. We looked, and where Rick and I were, and his muzzle was right in my ear, so I was deaf. I mean, it was pretty freaking loud. But it looked like the McDonald arches. It was pretty crazy. We're like, dude, we should have gotten shot in the head. We should have gotten hit. He's like, man, that's crazy. So you just kind of put that one away. You know, Iraq, 2003. We were supposed to go a certain route in its creek, and my buddy, he's like, man, let's go this way. And I was like, well, everybody else is going that way. He's like, I know, man, let's go around town. Let's go this way. I'm like, all right, cool. Go around town, go to the palace. The convoy that we were with got hit with an ID, killed a bunch of people. Man, so all these start to compound and kind of start to go in your little book of, okay, noted. So fast forwarding, you know, in November 2016, I'm ready to go. And I told my wife, I said, I'm not suicidal, but I certainly wouldn't be opposed to getting hit by a concrete truck driving down the road. And like, I'm done. I don't know what else I got. I've lived a rock star life. I've done everything I wanted to do. Well, about that time, a buddy of mine that I contracted with, he calls me. He's like, how you doing, bro? I'm like, I'm good. 5x5, what's up? He's like, really? I was like, yeah. He's like, will you do something for me? And I was like, what's that? And he said, I said, yeah, man, I'll do anything for you. I'd take a bullet for you. He's like, would you live for me? And I was like, oh. Because he knew what was going on. All my little Facebook posts and, Hayden's Diggins and presidents and all the, political garbage. And I'm like, all right, what are you doing? Where are you heading? And he said, it's this retreat. It's called Boulder Crest Retreat in Bluemont, Virginia. He said, I'm like, man, I appreciate it. I'm not into all that sitting around and kumbaya, whatever. He's like, no, man, just will you commit? Will you trust me? I'm like, yeah. So I went. February 2017, I went. Boulder Crest Retreat was founded by an EOD, 20-some year retired EOD, Navy EOD guy, and Ken Falk. The premise and the foundational piece of Boulder Crest Retreat is post-traumatic growth. People are like, post-traumatic growth, what's that? So there's PTSD, living in a world of PTSD, and all the symptoms that come with it. Then there's post-traumatic growth. Post-traumatic growth first came to light from the guys at the Hanoi Hilton, James Stockdale, Charlie Plum, all these guys who went through the Hanoi Hilton. I'm sure some of you guys have heard of that. And what's interesting is after these guys got home, so their thing was return home with honor, continue mission, return home with honor. That was their thing. That was their credo. I mean, these guys were stripped of everything. Out of all the guys from 2 months to 8.5 years in the Hanoi Hilton, out of all the guys that spent time there, if I were to ask you, percentage-wise, how many of them displayed symptoms of PTSD, most people would probably say 100%. I mean, they were tortured and they were 4%. 4%. Why? Because in times of deep struggles when you grow the most, you figure it out. They had their tap code. They had their hand signals. They figured things out. They figured how to live. If you have a why, a strong why in life, then you can overcome almost any how. And that's what they did. And so it's fascinating. And I learned all this through Boulder Crest Retreat and my walk in post-traumatic growth. The transition from the military life to the civilian life was rough for me. What I never really did was try to understand people. Understand that everybody has junk. Civilians, everybody has junk. Childhood, whatever. Everybody's got stuff that they put in their rucksack of life and they carry with them. They choose to carry with them every day. And until you take a knee and dump that stuff out, you're going to continue to carry it with you and drag that anchor. So BCR, Boulder Crest Retreat, allowed me to do that. Empty it. And it's like, man, life can only be understood backwards, but must be lived forward. So when you can stop and take that knee and you look at your life, you're like, okay, roger that, I got it. Cool. From here on, I'm going to create a new story. And that's what I did. When I got remarried, so after I got home from Iraq a year later, divorced my wife. Imagine that. I think 100% of the guys in my unit, almost all of us got divorced after Iraq. It was insane. But then I met my wife, who I'm married to now, and church gal. Man, she's a sweetheart. I was like, man, she's good looking, and she's a good godly girl. That's what I need. And I got back into church. And one of there's 5 pillars of post-traumatic growth. It's new possibilities, deeper relationships, appreciation for life, spiritual and existential change, and personal strength. And that spiritual existential change, it's basically serving something greater than me. That's what hit me the most. All the other stuff, new possibilities, deeper relationships, personal strength, all that stuff's awesome, and it's done me well. But my faith, my Christian walk, it's just got much deeper. And when you think about refinement in life, you take gold, nasty old raw gold, and you melt it down, and you clean the impurities off the top, you let it cool, and you do it again, and you do it again, and you do it again. And refinement for us, for me, it's a lifelong thing. It's a marathon, not a sprint. So learning to kind of, forgive myself and allow myself to make those mistakes and learn to live within the boundaries. I used to live, when things were great, they were freaking awesome. When they were bad, they were horrible. I'm ready to start my epistle. So what do? You start drinking, drugs. I was an opiate addict for 2 years. Well, bam, you pop back up here. You're rocking. Life's awesome. It doesn't work. You run out of money. And then you fall back down here. Well, the key is staying here. If you can stay in there, that's what I'm after. How do you do that? You do that through what we call regulation practices. Meditation, prayer, going to church, a good 3 to 5. 3 to 5 people, right? You tend to be like the people you're like. If you hang out with dopers and boozers, guess what? Probably going to be a doper or a boozer. So you choose those people. If you got to prune, you prune. If you got to cut some people, some places, some things out of your life, that's what you do. It's hard. It's not easy. I cut friends out of my life. But it was necessary because my kids need me and I needed to grow. My Christian faith, my walk, my witness, all that stuff. I wanted to get into mission trips. That's how I ended up here today. Through a mutual friend. I went to the Amazon a couple years ago on a mission trip. It's pretty killer. Weather sucks. It's horrible. It's hot. It's the hottest place I've ever been. Worse than the Middle East. But you know what? We built a church and we handed out water filters, serving people. Amen. You know what I'm saying? So I did it for selfish reasons, but it's cool because it's a win-win. Because serving people makes me feel good, and then the people I serve feel good. It's interesting. And I'll wrap it up here. But here's this quote, and I love this quote because this thing, it always hits me. And some of you guys may have heard it. The story about the 2 wolves. Right? And so an old Cherokee is teaching his grandson about life. A fight is going on inside me, he said to the boy. It is a terrible fight, and it is between 2 wolves. One is evil. He's anger, envy, sorrow, regret, greed, arrogance, self-pity, guilt, resentment, inferiority, lies, false pride, superiority, and ego. He continued, the other is good. He is joy, peace, love, hope, serenity, humility, kindness, benevolence, empathy, generosity, truth, compassion, and faith. The same fight is going on inside you and inside every other person too. The grandson thought about it for a minute, then asked his grandfather, which wolf will win? The old Cherokee simply replied, the one you feed. You can't starve the bad wolf. You'll never starve it. It's always going to be there. Just don't feed it. Feed the good wolf. That goes back to that pruning and regulation practices. Learn to breathe correctly. Feed your amygdala the oxygen it needs, your fight or flight mechanism. Get it worked out. Writing, journaling. I wrote a book. Never thought I'd do that. But you know what? I just started writing and I was like, I kind of dig this. No, even if nobody reads my story or hears anything I say, it feels good to get it out. I recorded myself the other day. The trouble tree. Google trouble tree. I got a buddy. He was a race car guy. Got a tree out in his front yard. Goes out there before he took all his junk from the day inside the house. Goes out to the tree, touch the tree, and leave it right here. If I want to take it with me tomorrow morning, it'll be right here. But he didn't take it in the house. Things like that. Regulation practices, hiking, fresh air, travel, culture. It's choice. Viktor Frankl. And I'll finish it up with this. Viktor Frankl, he was a Jew, POW in World War II. Or not POW, he was a prisoner in World War II. He survived Auschwitz, all the death camps. Horrible. He's got a book called Man's Search for Meaning. Set aside from the Bible, it's the greatest book I ever read. Absolutely changed my life. And it comes down to one thing. Everything can be taken from a man but one thing. The last of the human freedoms. To choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances. To choose one's own way. Hannah Hilton. They lost everything. Their name, they took everything from them. But the ability to choose. Can't do that. We choose. I'll leave it at that. You guys have an awesome day. Thanks.
Thank you.